So it's middle of the summer and I'm just in town looking at my garden, doing some gardening stuff today. And I just want to show you kind of all the things I'm doing for deer, even from my house. Now, this is a little nutty that I like messing with all this stuff, but this is kind of my hobby. So for around your house, here's a few ideas for you. See if I can flip this around here. Really easy to do, good for the kids. My kids have been helping me out with a lot of this stuff, and we're doing some stuff to eat, and then I'm also doing things that will be very applicable to the farm. All right, so right here I've got my bulletproof little cage where I can grow chestnuts, and this was easy. I mean, I'm doing this in very little space. There's the chestnuts, and we've got chipmunks and squirrels that got in, and this was so easy to build. All right, later to germinate, those are persimmons, and there'll still be some coming up. They take a long time. It's good to stratify the seed, and they come on slower, but those are persimmons. And then the chestnuts clearly are gonna be huge. So a lot of these were like 18, 20 inches tall here. So that is trees, and then these are crabapple, pear, a few different varieties of apple and pear that a lot of this I've got from around Iowa. So Des Moines Waterworks, I know I mentioned that before. I've got a lot of the seed from the crabapple trees there, and they could be a lot of different varieties. What you get from seed is not quite the same, but it's still going to be an apple, and it's still going to be great. And I do tons of different varieties of that. So super easy, and that was free, just the pots. And I got apple and pear and crabapple and all sorts of cool stuff. So, and some other types of pear. So here is my bean section. I'll rotate this. Sometimes I'll put corn here. I got raspberries and blackberries, and I plant the raspberries and blackberries around the farm, start them by the house, and they can get crazy good. And I eat them, and critters eat them. There's lettuce, asparagus, carrots, which is kind of like, it's the equivalent to a brassica. So if you're thinking about brassicas, you probably learn a good bit about that with carrots. Same with soybeans compared to beans and peas, very similar. These are gooseberries, and they're really good. So those are good. And then these blackberries, which I cleaned out earlier, these blackberries come up, and I'll move some of these blackberry plants to the farm as I can kind of dig some up. And those are really good, and they bear fruit like almost all summer. Here's my electrical box, and I put a plateau tolerant mix in here and kind of let this get out of control. I've done different stuff for years here, and this year I kind of let it go. Reed's Canary got in there, bunch of the other junk, and you can kind of relate to your CRP like this, or native grass stand. If you treat it kind of the same way I did, I just let it go for a few years, you can see you will have some issues. Some of them, you know, for my yard it looks goofy. For your crop fields it's not that big a deal, but at least you know what will happen to your crop fields, or what could. And like, there's some mare's tail coming up I got to get rid of. But so basically I've got one stand of native grasses here that I need to mess with, and I'll show you the other stand. So it might look a little crazy for the neighbors. You see the for sale sign over there? I wonder if I caused that, because I'm always doing my hillbilly stuff like this. Actually, no, I didn't, but it'd be a good excuse. So I just do this in town. And all right, so this is my native grass stand, and this is way over the top, but I did an area towards the front here with some atrazine, and I got switchgrass here, and then I did some other areas where I did lots of different wildflowers. So if you think of a pollinator mix for CRP or something like that, I've got a lot of different stages of wildflowers, and then it kind of butts up to the native grasses. I'm just goofing off here, but just seeing what mixes, what chokes out. And I've done this for years and watch the spots that have issues and watch the spots that have that do really, really good. And it's maybe gave me a few ideas for the farm on how to deal with CRP over the years. And I'll just goof around with this and just try different things. And this is right by my house, and everybody else has kind of like a open pile of junk at the end of their cul-de-sac, and I've got wildflowers and native grasses and stuff, and I just play with them and experiment with them, and you'll learn a lot from this. So this is stuff you can do at home that would teach you a lot about a farm and some basics of it, at least. I mean, I'm at the farm doing all these things, and then I've done this just for fun for 10 years, and I've definitely learned a few things, so very much worthwhile. There's my farm machinery right there. See ya.